excited about this event. A lot of effort was put together between our chef and Aaron with Ninkasi to kind of pair the beauty of their craft beer with the beauty of our food. So we hope you really enjoy it. We were definitely having fun putting it together.
CEO and co-founder Ninkasi Ridge of the brewery has come down to talk a little bit about the brewery, about the history of it. So let me introduce Ninkasi Ridge.
Yeah. All right, thanks to everybody. Really excited to be hosting you all here tonight. I think the menu looks amazing. The beers that are paired with it look perfect, so you're in for a treat. But Ninkasi was started in 2006 by my partner Jamie and myself. We just started distributing in Vegas recently, but our focus has always been really on making very flavorful beers that stay balanced and drinkable, and also being a strong supporter in the communities where we operate, and also having a lot of fun whenever we can. So having a beer dinner here at House of Blues is exciting for us. We have a music program that we're really into as well. So beer not only pairs well with great food, it also pairs well with great music, as I'm sure you're all aware. So this is kind of just a great all-around experience to have together. So just again, want to thank the House of Blues and all the great things that they put together for tonight, and thank you all for coming. And I'll be here, so I don't want to take up too much of your time right now, but feel free to come ask me any questions that you have, or come find me during the dinner. So thank you very much. Enjoy.
This hors d'oeuvre was apple cider glazed scallops with frisee, Fresno peppers, green papaya, and green apple. It kind of to match the beer. When I really tasted it the first time, I thought it was more like a German Riesling going into wine, and so I went with those kind of pairings, the green fruits, grassiness. Our first course will be smoked salmon chowder. We smoked the salmon in-house, and kind of just a basic chowder to show off the salmon. The Total Domination IPA, which they can explain better than I can. Just thought really went well with the salmon itself, cutting through the fat of the fish and the fattiness of the soup. So that will be coming out here shortly.
A little bit something about our second course and the brew that's paired with that. I'm going to bring Nikos back onto the stage to tell us a little bit about that craft beer.
So coming up next will be our Otis Oatmeal Stout paired with delicious wild mushroom ragu. Otis is a really dark, rich beer, brewed with a lot of dark roasted malt. So the dark color of the beer comes from the malting process, and the longer it's kilned and the longer it's roasted, the darker the malt gets, and so that's where you get a lot of those roast flavors. So you'll sense some notes of coffee and chocolate, a lot of earthiness in there, which does a really great job of pairing with the mushrooms and with the ragu in this beer. So talk a little bit about the dish itself.
Absolutely. All right, we sauteed the mushrooms off after we got a nice sear on it. Instead of where you classically use a red wine to deglaze, we used the beer to deglaze, and then finished it with some veal stock and butter, and it's over Parmesan grits with a little truffle oil on the plate as well.
So I'll talk about the beer, and Ninkasi, I'm sure, has some stories about the name of the beer. So it's an India Red Ale, so it's basically a hybrid of a Red Ale and an IPA. You're still going to get that caramel malt toastiness, but you're going to get the elevated hop presence. With this beer, they used El Dorado and Mosaic hops. So if you take a big sniff of it, you're going to get big tropical fruit aroma, pineapple, mango, papaya. But on the taste, you're going to get a little bit tropical fruit, but you're going to get a little more citrus and a little more pine. And so it's a big beer, super malty. I mean, it goes perfect with the charred character of the steak. It's very sugary, very heavy. And so Ninkasi will talk about some of the history behind it.
So Dawn of the Red was originally a special release, and due to its popularity, we brought it back. So it's our newest flagship beer, actually. And so this is the first time as a flagship that's going to be paired in any event anywhere in history. So you're having it paired here first. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the tie-in that we have with this beer to our music program specifically. So we just finished up an expansion at the brewery, and we built a recording studio into it. And so James on our marketing team over here runs the recording studio. But we had 5 of our partner artists come in, and they all developed songs specifically related to Dawn of the Red. And so we just got the vinyl albums on Friday, so we have a 5-song vinyl that's pressed with all original songs about this beer. So it's, again, another way that we're tying beer to music, and of course tonight, beer to food.
that's cool. Next course, we have the hanger steak. And hanger steak, you can go in and impress your butcher by asking for it because he's probably not going to have it. It's actually called the hanging tenderloin as well. It's a piece that hangs off of the tenderloin and kind of wraps around it underneath. Generally doesn't get used a lot, but it is extremely tender and extremely flavorful. We topped it with shallots that we cooked for about 2 hours that were in the Dawn of the Red as well. And then we have potato chips and aioli that we made with a reduction of Dawn of the Red. Anyway, the next beer is the Imperial Slayer, and we had our last local brews, and they handed me the list of the beers and said, we need to come up with some food to pair with the beer. Just reading down the list, and I found Slayer, and I thought, cool. It better taste good because we're going to use it because I like the name. Turned out to be great, and we're all here now for it. Anyway, the Slayer is used in the chocolate waffle, the chocolate sauce, and we candied the bacon strip with Slayer and brown sugar, and served with vanilla ice cream, pecans, and macerated strawberries.
See, you're gonna get a lot of deep caramel malt. So this is deep Bad Santa. Basically, it's a 9% version of our seasonal winter ale, and this is probably one of our most popular seasonals that we brew. And so Nikos is going to talk a little more about it.
So Slayer, the regular version of Slayer is about 7%, and this one's 9%, so it's a good boosted version. It's pretty smooth, so you'll notice it's pretty easy to drink, and it can get you in trouble if you have access to large quantity like we do at the brewery, so it's a good thing to be prepared for. But it's a great beer, great to pair with dessert. It's got some residual sugar in there, a lot of complexity and depth, and it should go really well with this dish. And with regards to the rest of tonight, I just wanted to again say thank you to everybody for coming out. And does anybody here, before we go, know what Ninkasi means? Yeah. All right. So Ninkasi is named for the Sumerian goddess of fermentation. So the Sumerians were the first culture that brewed beer 5,000 years ago, and they worshipped the beer they made. And the reason that they worshipped it was because it was one of the things that allowed them to preserve and store food. It also created potable water through fermentation because it made water that might otherwise contain bacteria and other harmful things. It made it so they were able to drink that. It was, some people argue, the foundation for sort of cultural society because we settled into a community that grew grain to make beer, and because we were able to then store that food source and use it throughout the year, we had time to do other things like create art and culture around that. So really Ninkasi as a brewery tries to embody what that namesake is. So the idea that beer brings people together, like we're all here tonight, creates a context for us to enjoy each other's company and have a great time, and really does something positive for the world. So I just want to again thank everybody, thank House of Blues, and I hope you really had a great time. And
Everyone for coming out tonight. Enjoyed preparing the food for everybody, and thanks to Ninkasi for just great beer to work with, very easy to pair the food with, and I enjoyed it, and candied bacon.
Candied bacon, yeah!
An Oregon tradition, raise your bacon to the air. Everyone, raise it up if you haven't eaten it already. Your beer will suffice. We wanted to thank you guys so much. Charles, House of Blues, Las Vegas, and Nevada Beverage for helping putting all this together. Thank you so much. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.